So I'm a bit hesitant to make this video because the first thing that people think of with chord function is that they think that these are really specific rules for how to write chord progressions and how to make chords move, and the problem is that they're really not. A lot of rules are based on the time period and style of music you're trying to write in, and really any composer can abandon whatever rules he or she wants to create new textures or new ideas, and so it's just sort of a hard thing to talk about. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay out how to get the chords based off of scales, and then how to make the simplest ways that those chords move, and then I'll get into more specific ways later, and I'll talk about different ideas about how they move and different things you can do to the chords to make them move in different ways. So how you find chords in the scales is you take the scales. I have all 4 common scales written up here. So you take, say, your major scale up here, and you just stack thirds on top of the intervals. So you start off with your, and these are all in C. So you start off with your C, and you go a third up. So you get E. Then a third up from that, G. And then if you're doing a 7th chord, which I'm going to be doing since I don't have a piano, so I can't give you directions on that, so I'm going to be playing my guitar, and 7th chords just sound better. You're going to go a third up from that to get B. And you're going to go so on and so forth throughout all of the rest of the scale. So what this does is it gives us a pattern that we can follow. It also creates different chord qualities, like not all the chords in C major are going to be major chords. So what this does is if you go through the scale I have up behind me, you'll get different chord qualities. In this case, you'll get a major 7, then a minor 7, then another minor 7, then a major 7, then a dominant 7th, another minor 7th, a half diminished 7th or a minor 7th with a flat 5, and then back up to your major 7 for the octave. And that gives us the different chords that we can work with in a major key. Now what I've done here is I've written out the chord qualities in the 2 most common ways. On top, like it's usually on top, you'll find lead sheet notation, which will always go over the notes, and we'll just explain with symbols and letters what the chords are. This is what you'll see if you look through any fake book. Most little like piano, vocal and guitar things, like a lot of Beatles books will come like that, and a lot of just popular music in general will be written with this style of chord, whereas this style, so known as figured bass, is the classical style, but it's also the way that I'm going to use to analyze things, because it's in theory what you use to analyze a lot. So you'll see they're all Roman numerals, but the Roman numerals are different cases. Like these ones are uppercase and these are lowercase, and that has to do with the quality of the third in the chord. So the uppercase ones have a major third and are major chords, whereas the lowercase ones have a minor third and are minor chords, except for 7. 7 has this little circle here, which means it has a diminished 5th. So that means it has a minor third and a diminished 5th and is a diminished chord. So now we've moved on to natural minor. If we look at the chords up here, they're not in the same order, but they're the same qualities as the major scale, because the natural minor scale is just is relative to a major scale. So for example, the C natural minor scale that I have up there is actually, if you can think about it, it's playing an E flat major scale, but just starting on C and ending on C. So it's that it'll have the same chords as E flat major, because it's the relative minor of E flat major. But if you look at it based from C minor, it's going to have C minor 7 is the 1 chord, D half diminished 7 as the 2 chord, E flat major 7 as the 3 chord, F minor 7 is the 4 chord, G minor 7 as the 5 chord, A flat major 7 as the 6th chord, B flat dominant 7 as the 7th chord, and then C minor 7 again as the 1 chord. And we see that there are some problems with this, which will be addressed later on. So now that we're working with the chords in the harmonic minor scale, C harmonic minor, we have this new note that we're working with. Our normal minor has 3 flats. In this case, it'll have an E flat, an A flat, and a B flat. But because this is harmonic minor, we raise that B flat to a B natural in order to get that leading tone to C, in order to make strong movements back to our 1 chord. So we get, instead of the normal chords that we get with minor, we get C minor major 7, then our D half diminished, then C major 7 sharp 5, or C augmented major 7, or sorry, E flat major 7 sharp 5, or E flat augmented major 7, then F minor 7, then a G dominant 7, then our A flat major 7, then a B fully diminished, back to our 1 major 7, our C major 7, or C minor major 7. And those are the chords that you can work with based on scales. Now, there is another scale, the melodic minor scale, or in the case of jazz, in a lot of situations, they'll just play the same up and down instead of differently, just so you can keep the same notes in it. There are many new chords and many new scales that are created, and that's how we get things like altered chords, and that's going to get its own episode. We'll talk about that at a later date.